everyone, and welcome back to our journey through the unseen challenges and realities of life. In our last episode, we touched on the roots of my upbringing and the dreams I had for my marriage. Like many young women, I grew up with a fairy tale image of marriage, a life filled with romance and bliss. But as I grew older, the dream changed to real expectations of a marriage, a relationship of love, support, trust, and companionship. Not asking for anything unreasonable, right? Unfortunately, my husband would disagree with my perceptions of a marriage. Today, in this episode titled In the Shadows of Control, we explore the subtle and overt ways control permeated my life, shaping my days and demeaning my sense of self that often lurked behind the facade of societal expectations. Join me in my journey through the shadows that once clouded my world, the stark contrast between my dreams and the harsh realities of a marriage, an arranged marriage. As tradition dictated, in joint families, elders in the family kept an eye on the proposed match within the community while their child grew up to a marriageable age. In my case, as we were a modern nuclear family residing in the city all along, my family placed an ad in the matrimonial column of a national newspaper. This led to my meeting with my would-be so-called husband. Despite initial reservations for this match, societal pressure and familial expectations nudged me towards what seemed like an inevitable path, embarking on a journey with a stranger, and love will eventually happen. That's the foundational understanding of any arranged marriage. However, unlike the dreams of love and companionship I harbored, the true nature of my marriage soon revealed itself. I found myself with an angry, alcoholic, abusive narcissist navigating a maze of restrictions that dictated my daily existence. I saw his true colors within a few days of our marriage. A particularly stark memory was our first New Year's Eve together, which came within 3 weeks of our marriage. It was supposed to be a celebration along with his friends, colleagues, and their families. But instead, it turned into a nightmare. That night, the festive lights couldn't brighten the growing shadows in my heart. From being left alone and ignored to the subtle cues that dictated my behavior, every moment began to feel like walking on a tightrope, fearful of displeasing my husband. These weren't just red flags, they were alarms I wasn't yet ready to acknowledge fully. He was reeking of alcohol at the end of the party, unable to walk straight, and kept blabbering all the way home. I could catch a few words that he was unhappy with my family, about the wedding arrangements, and cursing my dad. I didn't think much about it till we reached home, and then he gave me a shock of my life. He pulled me to sit next to him and started to throw curses on me in Hindi in a vulgar tone and gave me one hard slap on my face, leaving my cheek burning. That was just the beginning of his abusive behavior and an end to a beginning of my new married life. My world shattered as I slipped into a dark abyss ensnared by control, manipulation, provocation, and violence, a classic cycle of an abusive narcissist. With each passing day, my sense of self was eroding. I began to question my worth, my decisions, and my ability to perceive reality. I was not only victimized, but also isolated from my family and friends. I lost my voice. My so-called infectious smiles were gone, my sanity, my very being. This was nowhere near the life of a partnership I had envisioned. It was a silent battle of my spirit. In sharing these moments, I relive the pain, but it's vital to share as we delve deeper into the hidden realities of life. Also, the critical understanding they brought to me. It's not easy to expose one's vulnerabilities, but it's crucial. If you see yourself in my story, know that you are not alone. In the midst of my darkest times, when I was completely trapped, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally, when I was confined by the walls I believed were too steep to climb, just like a frog at the bottom of a well who can see a sliver of the sky. But sometimes it takes a new perspective to realize that the sky is much broader than what we see from the bottom of a well. This realization brought me to a therapist as I was shameful of sharing my tormented life with anyone, including my own family. My therapist's words were like rays of sunshine piercing through the murky waters above me. She didn't pull me out of the well. That was a journey I needed to embark on myself. But she convinced me that the world outside was worth the effort, that I could and should leap out to see it. Going to seek help was a leap of faith, a leap towards a wider view of the sky. It was daunting at first to share my pain and to peel back the layers of my fears and distress. My therapist helped me see that I wasn't alone and that reaching out for help was not just okay, it was necessary. I'm getting emotional. It was there in those sessions that I found the courage to imagine a life outside the well, to imagine freedom. Many of us hesitate to seek therapy or coaching, clouded by the stigma or fear of judgment. But let's be clear, acknowledging the need for help was not a sign of weakness, but the beginning of claiming my strength. It was the moment I started to believe that I was not bound to the darkness at the bottom of the well. I know many of you might be feeling like that frog in the well, confined to a tiny patch of the sky. I'm here to tell you there is a whole horizon out there full of opportunities. Reaching out for help like I did can be your first step towards seeing that vast sky carrying infinite opportunities. Therapy or coaching can be that friend who reminds you of the vastness you are missing. Coaching can awaken possibilities you would never dare to consider when in a trap. It shows you, as it did for me, that the walls around me weren't as insurmountable as they seemed. I began to imagine a life outside the well, a life where I was no longer a spectator but an active participant. If my story resonates with you, if you feel stuck in your well, I encourage you to seek help. And mind you, your pain will not go away on its own. You certainly need a support system. Next time, I'll share more about how I took those insights and turned them into action, how I began to climb out of the well, one challenging yet rewarding step at a time. Remember, it's not just about getting out of the well, but also what we do once we are out in the sunlight. Thank you for sharing this space with me today. In the next episode, video 3 in the series, we'll explore the slowly dawning realization that sparked a change within me, titled The Awakening of a Tigress. Until then, take care and remember, acknowledging the shadow is the first step towards the light. I shall wrap up with a question and an action step for you. Have you ever felt trapped by your circumstances? What steps can you take today to start your journey towards healing? Share your experience in the comments. Your experience can help others. Let's together build a support system for each other. We can have conversations on my Facebook group called Women Warrior Club. Don't forget to and do not hesitate to reach out if you need support. Together we can climb out of our wells and into the sunlight. Stay tuned on next Wednesday. Thank you.